Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room. I'm joined today by Kurtis and Charlie. How are we, boys? Charlie, we'll start with you.
Yeah, good man. In football with like international break just doesn't entertain me at all. So I'm sort of just like waiting for Premier League football back, watching all the drama that's ensuing around Liverpool. And yeah, no boring's pretty football. No boring's pretty football. No football's pretty boring though.
And you, Kurt, how are you feeling, mate? International break boring you as much as the next man?
Yes, I think I echo Charlie's opinions there. It's really not quite the same as it is having the league. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I mean, I'm not wet in my bed yet, but I'm good about all these injuries. We'll start off with breaking news. Naby Keita seems to be stuck in traffic in Guinea. We'll use that as the term. What do you think it will mean, Charlie, for Liverpool going into Leeds? Because obviously Keita's played a key role in some of the matches so far.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it changes. Honestly, I think he'll be back anyway. From recent reports, he's looks like he's hiring a plane. Someone's hiring a plane to get like the members who play out of the country. So hopefully that happens. But I don't think it changes too much, honestly. I think hopefully it's probably going to be Fabinho, Thiago Henderson, or Fabinho, Henderson, Elliott. If Elliott's interested in that, but I'm sure we'll go into that later. But yeah, I don't think it changes too much. But it's nice to have Keita as an option on that bench. We know what he can bring on, we know what he can offer, and he does offer something different to what everyone else does.
Yeah, definitely. How worried were you this morning, Kurtis, about the Naby news? I was a little bit worried, but then it obviously come out. But what was your thoughts?
Yeah, I was a bit worried, to be honest. I think it's a very serious situation with what's happening over there. But it's nice to know that the club are in contact regularly with him and people around him. That way they're updated and can relay that to the supporters about what's actually going on. But like you say, Charlie, there's that private jet that's being hired to get him back. And hopefully he'll be back and ready for Leeds. And fingers crossed everything goes smoothly with getting out of the country.
Yeah, it must be quite distressing for Naby. He's not had a very straightforward time of it, and it seems to be like anything that can go wrong for him will do.
Yeah.
It's a bit like, well, going over to South America, seeing the Argentina and the Brazil players, all that going on.
Yeah, I mean,
a weird time, boys.
I mean, we know that obviously Keita's had issues with Guinea before, hasn't he? Like with them making him play through injury, which kept them out for ages.
That was ridiculous. Yeah,
their coaches have sort of been known to be a bit like corrupt, should we say? So I think most Liverpool fans just wish international football wasn't a thing. It'd make things a lot simpler. Maybe not you guys. Maybe I'm a Scouse, not English speaking from me, but yeah. So hopefully it gets all sorted out. Worst case, we just send James Milner in there and he gets him out.
Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure to let us know in the comments what you're thinking and how you're feeling. And make sure to subscribe to the LFC transfer room while you're at it. That's what we'd love to see. Another thing that's come out today, Harvey Elliott picked up an injury and has been recalled by Liverpool. Now, I know this has sent Twitter into another pretty regular meltdown about how we're in a crisis and how it's all all this kind of stuff. Charlie, we've heard that it's not serious. Can you give us any more updates on
it? I mean, so James Pearce did say that it wasn't serious. There's a couple of echo reports as well saying it doesn't look bad. But from what I can really tell, it seems like a lot of people are assuming that it's a precaution from the club due to Keita's situation, which I'm not too sure about personally, because I don't think England would really allow that. But we know that Harvey Elliott's a red through and through, so I'm sure if Jurgen Klopp got onto the phone to him, said, "You got a bit of a niggle there, haven't you, Harvey? I think it's time to come back to Kirby." So who knows? Elliott could definitely do that, and hopefully it's not bad. Because we definitely don't want a midfield crisis after signing absolutely no one in midfield, and also too with it looking like Minamino's out, Elliott could potentially be playing on the right. So there's another option for up front gone if both of them are injured. So it's a weird one. Liverpool have been very quiet on the whole. We'll say what's the issue with injuries. I mean, we saw it last year. Players were meant to be out for a week and ended up being out for the rest of the season. I mean, most notably, James Pearce literally said that Henderson was going to be out for like 2 weeks, and he ended up being out for the rest, like the last 4 months of the season. So it's another point that journalists don't really know much. Definitely wouldn't trust journalists, but I wouldn't trust Liverpool with injuries either, honestly, because they don't tell the truth. I think it's just a wait and see how long they're out for, which is unfortunate, especially as a fan.
Yeah, it is frustrating, isn't it? But it also it's probably likely a good thing, especially as some clubs, you get everything out of them. Liverpool, you don't. So sometimes it's good news, sometimes it's bad news. Kurtis Minamino leaving the only real depth option in attack as Divock Origi. How are you feeling about that? He's definitely, I'd assume he'd be in the squad for Leeds. Having not made the first 3 matchday squads, I believe, or he might have been on the bench against Norwich. But yeah, Divock Origi is the only backup.
Well, it's coming to fruition. We had issues at the back last year. Now it seems to have progressed up the pitch, and it's a shame. I think, as Charlie was saying, we don't want international breaks, do we, as Liverpool fans? I think we've seen over the years players that are hitting their stride suddenly have an issue while they're away on international duty. You look at last year with Gomez, apparently just went down for no reason with his knee. And then you also have to think about Sturridge towards the end of his career with us, would start looking good after returning from an injury and then would get another one. And the same with Naby Keita playing through his full national team. But looking at Origi as the sort of only backup up front, it's, it doesn't fill us with confidence. We've just got to hope that Jota, Mane and Salah could all keep fit for the extended period that Firmino may be out for.
Yeah, it's annoying because I really like Taki. He had a great pre-season. Hopefully it's not too serious. But his one, I think, is the least of Liverpool fans' concern with Harvey Elliott and Firmino. Obviously being in the first team this year. And Harvey Elliott will probably be a key part of it, considering he played against Chelsea. But yeah, it's exciting. But anyway, we'll talk about international break. The age-old debate came up again because Gareth Southgate has been listening to Liverpool Twitter and has decided to play Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield. Wasn't convincing. I don't know if you saw the England game, Kurtis. I wasn't convinced.
It wasn't his best showing, let's be honest. There was a lot of time where he was taking Reece James's position out on the right-hand side and telling him to move more centrally. I think it was a case of the responsibility of playing in such an important position in the pitch, even though, let's be honest, it was against Andorra. It's not quite... It's international football at the end of the day, and that's a lot of pressure for someone that is naturally a right-back. And he said himself that that's the position he's been playing. That's what he's used to now. And even though he may have played midfield slightly in under 18s sort of level, it's completely different, isn't it?
Yeah, and you got, I mean, in the Liverpool system, the fullbacks take up the most creative positions. Charlie, I mean, as Kurtis said, he was sort of naturally edging to the fullback role. So it's sort of like, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I didn't watch the game just because I don't watch international football at all. I was too busy on the F1. But I mean, I understand the whole why people want to play Trent in midfield. I do. He's got that ability to pass. He can shoot. I think a massive issue is his size. I think if he wants to play in midfield, he needs to get a bit more bulky. But again, I think it shows the managerial class as to why Southgate is trying to play him. He can't get the best out of Trent at right back, which is what Jurgen Klopp has done so well. He's made him one of the best right backs and the best right back in world football. Southgate can't do that. At the end of the day, we rarely focus our system around the fullbacks. That's what's made us so successful over the years. whereas Southgate plays that 5 at the back. But even when he plays 5 at the back, he doesn't play Trent there, which is baffling. So because he's got so many right backs, I assume he's like, okay, Trent can pass, Trent can do this. Like, let's get him in midfield. But I do think I'm excited to see it. I was excited to see it. Obviously, I don't watch it, but I think long term it might be his place. Maybe when he slows down a bit, But again, it's a hard one. But yeah, I think it's Southgate can't get the best of him type situation. Let's see if we can put him in a different position, try and work around it. But regarding him moving to midfield anytime soon for Liverpool, while Klopp's in charge, it won't happen because he's so reliant on in that right back role.
I think there's a great comment that's come through on YouTube there that Trent has the traits to play in midfield, but where his natural game is at right back, that freedom to drift inwards is something that he thrives on rather than starting inwards. So yeah, being able to have an influence on the game from that position is something that we're accustomed to as Liverpool fans, and England fans who aren't Liverpool fans will not be able to see that.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. I mean, I've seen last season Cancelo and Walker for Man City were really doing well at that sort of coming into sort of a midfield position, but coming into it. And Trent and Robertson, well, Trent especially, has started to do that this season a lot more. So yeah, I just think, because you saw when in that game, in the Burnley game when Mane scored, where Trent took up his position, it was sort of a right-sided 10. Yeah. Which was, interesting to say the least, but it obviously clearly works. He's obviously a fantastic footballer. We all know that. But if he's the best right back in the world, why make him an average midfielder? You know what I mean? No one really wants to see that. Henderson also played in that game, and Liverpool's future number 8, Jude Bellingham.
Midfield with dream. Future Liverpool legends, like midfield three of them. So
yeah, but everyone got really happy about that, so it was great. Other international football, I mean, Andy Robertson. I can't even remember who they played, but they won 2-1. Just international football, boys. I just hate it.
Well, Virgil van Dijk made his return to the Netherlands side, came up against Haaland. I think that finished as a draw, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, also dislocated his finger, which is amazing.
Yep, another kind of injury, if we want to look at it that way, but hopefully it'll be fine.
Shiver me timber with a dislocated finger.
I just like international football. I'm just like, unless a Liverpool player scored in a hat-trick, like outside the World Cup or Euros, I'm just like, you can do one really. Like, I don't really pay attention. Like, get the Premier League back on.
Yeah. Virgil also, it's been a big debate on Twitter this week. Just when a fan came up to take a selfie with him, it pushed him away. I mean, I can't believe we're talking about this. It shows how much we've got to talk about during an international break.
Yeah.
But what's Virgil right to push the fan away, Charlie?
Yes, it is COVID. They're professional footballers in a different country. Like, of course, he's going to push them away. The guy shouldn't have been on the pitch anyway. He's given an interview, and the whole Ronaldo situation. I'll pull up a video of Ronaldo pushing a fan over while he's walking down the street. If you want to call him the god of humility, like, it's just Ronaldo fans in it, man. Like, shut up, get on your bike, go and. It's just the Manx in it, really. Let's be honest. Like, we can just all ignore them and pretend like they don't exist until we play them.
I absolutely pissed myself when I actually saw the video the first time. It was just like the bloke's coming up and he's just like,
yeah, like a proper. See you later, mate.
He didn't even need to. He didn't use any force. He just guided him away.
Brushed him away. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, Kurt, I don't know about you, but I've been raised sort of. If there's a person around, you ask them nicely. Not going,
of course.
It's a moral debate here, mate.
You know, at the end of the day, these players are doing their jobs, right? You wouldn't, if you were at work, you wouldn't want some random person coming up to you and trying to get a picture with you. I mean, maybe when the LFCTR does blow up and we have a lot of followers, but until then, it's their job. You're interrupting them while they're doing media duties, and you know, Virgil's had a very unfortunate previous season. The last thing he wants to do is get an illness that rules him out for 14 days.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've been in a lot of situations with being from Liverpool that, like, you run into players. Like, it happens a lot. Like, the amount of times I've been at restaurants and there's players over there. Personally, I would never go over to a player while they're like with the family or anything. I'd only ever ask for a picture with a player if they are doing something football related, like outside the stadium, stuff like that. It's just not what I do. So it's mad the way different people think. Like for instance, my mum saw Rafa Benitez rounded out yesterday, didn't even say anything. I was like, go and tell them to get Everton relegated, please.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about anything else, is there anything else we can really cover before we head off? Because it's been a nice, quick, short screen.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a bit shit, isn't it? Really, the shit. There's just not much going on. I mean, Saving Private Nabby, Minamino. I guess the Minamino injury, but it's not a massive story, is it? Really?
No, we're just
Not
here. We're just
particularly.
vibing. Stuff coming up on LFC Transfer Room. We've got well, if you haven't checked it out already, yesterday, or was it yesterday? The interview with George Sefton, the voice of Anfield. Oh, there we go. Cheers, Anthony. Sadio scored. There we go.
Woo.
He's back.
Naby did get an assist as well, if we remember. Yeah. So coming up on LFC Transfer Room, the interview with George Sefton. Everything else will be coming up. We've got some great Leeds content chatting to Phil Hay of The Athletic, which is going to be really, really cool. I'm doing that tomorrow, and then Jack will be doing his little box thing, which is pretty cool. We all love Jack's tactics box. Yeah, and then we'll do a lot watch along. I know myself, Jack, and Matty would definitely be there. I don't know if you're going to be there, Chaz.
I think I'm away in Liverpool, unfortunately. I'll see though. I'm not 100% sure. I'm meant to start a new job, but I haven't heard from them in 3 weeks, so I'm a bit like, let's see where that's going. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, it seems like we've got more interesting stuff happening than football at the minute. But thankfully, we can get back into that soon.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else from you, Kurt, before we head off?
I think we've covered everything important that's happened over this last couple of weeks. I think, yeah.
Are we release like publicly announcing our new member, or leave that for another day?
I think we need to do like a graphic.
Yeah, we like a transfer one, like have him holding up a shirt.
What a shout!
Yeah, well, that's a little hint for you guys. We've got a new person come in, so it's going to be pretty cool. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the stream. It's been short and sweet. Yeah, good fun. We'll catch you in the next one.